Have it. Okay, so here we are, Wednesday, the 28th, and we're going to start today with noticing and adding like a number to your level of stress this week. So the last 7 days, if you were to think about it on a scale of 0 to 10, what would you say without overthinking it, just the first number that comes to mind, where on that scale do you feel like your average stress level was from 0 to 10? 10 being like super stressed, oh my gosh, so much stress, 0 being no stress at all. And then if you could put that in the chat, that would be awesome. Oh, is somebody practicing?
Yeah, my daughter's playing her tuba trombone.
I love that. I have
Sure.
a friend whose son is doing the trombone and he's so excited and he's like eighth grade getting moved up into high school to like do some practicing and he's so excited. Awesome. Denise, I'm so thankful you made it and I can see you today. We're just giving a number to our average level of stress for the last 7 days. Don't overthink it. 10 is all 100% stressed out. 0 is I didn't have any stress at all. So just thinking of a number, it's a subjective number, but this will be a nice way to start off our calls together and see over time how things shift. Okay, today was a 10. Oh, that is a big stressful day, Diane.
Yeah, I'm completely exhausted right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
Good. We will do some regulating things today so you can leave hopefully feeling a little bit more relaxed. And Kelly's here and another person. I'm so glad we're showing up. Better to show up a few minutes late than not at all. Welcome, Kelly and Diana. Just inviting us for maybe one more minute here to enter in the chat a number that you would identify your level of stress for the last week, so the last 7 days, the average number or so of the level of stress that you experienced, 10 being maximum stress, 0 being no stress. Don't overthink it, and there's no right or wrong. So just whatever number you would assign last week, hit me. I see a 4, a 7, and a 10 for today for sure. 6 maybe overall. 2 for all else. Okay, good. That's totally fine, Kelly. Glad you are here. 7, 8 stress level. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to kind of, if I can, we'll see if this works. It's something I like to do with my individual clients is just track. You can track any number you like. You could track your joy number, your play number, your relaxation number, but it's just a way to honor something that you're paying attention to that you'd like to transform or change. So I like this saying, like a watched number changes. So just keeping our eye on it and just being honest about where we're at and where we'd like to be. So if I see, tens and sixes and sevens for stress and anxiety, you can think of it as your stress and anxiety score or just stress score or just anxiety score, whatever you like. Then we get to lower it, even if it's just 1 point. Right. And so we can do this again at the end of class and see how we're feeling just in the moment. But that is a goal. How you can imagine, like 6 months from now, if you're looking at this number and you're paying attention, what it would be like if you changed your stress level even 1% every day. You could have a big change in 6 months. So that's why we're going to do that. So just the science part of me would like to do that. And welcome everybody that couldn't make it last time. I'm so glad there's new faces here. I'm thrilled to be here. I explained my journey into this role a while back, but I used to be a science teacher and had a bunch of stress-induced health issues and couldn't figure it out until then I did figure it out. And then I realized I was not equipped to deal with it. And so then I was passionate about getting equipped. So now I love to help people figure out how to find wellness and a quality of life that everybody deserves. Okay. Any questions before we start, before I begin with you guys? Okay. We're going to start with some gentle like movement in our chair just to become embodied. And I think the goal of our sessions, and this can shift over time, will be number one, just leave feeling more relaxed than you did when you came in. And then number two, you leave with some tools that you can practice by yourself when you are living your life and to notice over time that you're feeling better and that it contributes to your wellness and to your increased energy level, right? Okay, so we're going to start. I was a yoga teacher, I am a yoga teacher, but just getting embodied because my tendency, and if you can relate to this, I'm just like, my mind is here, my mind is there. I'm thinking about something that's not in the present moment. So, getting ourselves in our body is a great place to start. So, just thinking about the contact that your seat has on the chair. Do you guys like my shirt, by the way? I feel like it's like theme snow out there for the awesome weather that we're experiencing. So I'm like distracted myself with my shirt. Okay, so feeling my shirt on my body, feel your clothes touching your skin in that pressure against your seat as you are supported by the chair. And starting to notice your breath. And as you notice your breath, maybe it starts to slow down a little bit. And then we're just going to start. If you want to take yourself off screen, please do. But if not, totally fine. We're just going to move our arms around. We're going to start by bringing our arms up overhead and just feel the sensations as you go. Where are you tight? Where might you be sore? And then grab a wrist. I'm going to grab my left wrist and bend over to the opposite side and breathe into that side stretch. Imagine with your inhale, you're kind of spreading the ribs. Feel a stretch from the hip bone all the way through your armpit area. Maybe do a big breath and a sigh. And then come down. And if you can interlace your fingers like this behind your back, maybe you need to lean away from your seat, but kind of try that, opening up the chest in between side stretches, just maybe a gentle one. I'm just going to hold my hands and just let that be a gentle opening to my chest, to my heart space, to the lung region. Taking a few breaths here. What feelings do you sense? It's so nice to see you guys. Oh, I love the dog. Animals are the best therapy. All right, and then bring your arms back up if you're able. And bind the other wrist, grab the other wrist, whatever is comfortable. Reach up and then over and breathe into this side. It's a different side. You might have different sensations. If you have anything acute or anything sharp, then come back up. There's no need to cause any discomfort, but hopefully a gentle stretch to open up some energy, increase space for our lungs. Breathe deep. And then release and find that place behind. Maybe interlacing the other thumb on top, the awkward thumb, or just hold a wrist or a hand if you can reach it. And just open up the chest again. Noticing the breath. Maybe taking some attention to your feet as well. Socks you can feel, or slippers, or shoes, or bare feet. Notice how they make contact with the floor, possibly. Then we're going to find a gentle twist and be done with this. So let's start with our left hand, placing it on your right knee, and that might be enough. Just sitting upright and imagine the crown of your head kind of pulling up and just a gentle pressure, left hand on your right knee. If you want to add some, you might take that right hand behind your chair and apply a little bit more leverage. And if you would like to look over that right shoulder to continue the twist through your neck, if it feels okay, then do that. But imagine with every twist, it's a gentle twist, but you're hugging those internal organs. And with that gentle squeeze, it's stimulating glands like adrenal glands, but also those internal organs, the gut. So gentle wringing out. So get some energy moving there, moving and spiraling up towards your crown of your head. Breathing into your tummy. With every breath, it's a little bit of a squeeze on the abdominal space. So breathe that diaphragmatic breath. When you're ready, after the next breath, exhale the air and really one last gentle pull with a twist before we switch sides. When that feels complete, we're going to come back to neutral. From here, before we do the other side, we'll do some gentle neck stretches and then we'll do the other side and be done. So from here, thinking about your chin, just bring it over to the right side as far as your range of motion allows without any discomfort. Just finding that stretch, breathe, then coming through center and over to the other side. Slow. We have a tendency in myself, really included, maybe you can relate to just rush through everything. And being still or slow is like, it makes my, used to make my skin crawl. And I'd be like, can we just keep moving, please? One of my teachers helped me recognize like the more antsy I am, probably the more I need stillness. So now antsiness is just a message. Oh, Jen, you just need to be still for a little bit and be present to whatever emotions you've got. Okay. Coming back through center, gaze up, stretch the front of your neck. Gentle, gentle. Bringing the chin down, stretch the back of your neck, but keep the shoulders up and straight. Keep a straight back as your chin comes down towards your chest. And then from here, with the chin down, just shift the right ear towards your right shoulder. So just tilting your head towards the right. And then the other side. Excellent. Coming back up, let's do our last twist. So here we take the right hand on the outside of the left knee, and that might be enough to gently twist, or you can use that left arm leverage around your chair, whatever feels good. Most important thing is a straightish spine. Reach that crown of the head up and imagine the root of your sit bones really grounding into your chair and even your feet. And I can feel here there's like a muscle in my back that feels like it's tensing. So I might have to come out of my twist. I don't want to get um, I don't want a muscle to feel cramped. So listen to your body. Your body is the boss. But similar things to think about here, giving a hug to those internal organs, giving them a squeeze, telling them to wake up a little bit, get a little energized from some stimulation with every breath you have down into your belly. Push that diaphragm down and squeeze those organs. But also the vertebrae, the spine is your central cord of energy. If you're thinking about acupressure points and the tapping that you guys practice, it is related to your meridians, and the central spine meridian is huge. So, stimulating the vertebrae. All right, I think we're good. You can come around when you're ready. Can shake out the arms. See how you feel in your body. Notice, do I feel worse possibly? Do I feel more open? How do you feel? I'd love to hear how that was for you. And if you think like, what would be the benefit of that? If I'm not able to move a lot during the day, maybe I have to sit at my desk or I don't have energy and I'm just seated a lot. Would what could the benefits be of just doing some twists or doing a side bend or even opening up my neck? What could you imagine or what do you know the benefits are of that, besides me telling you? It feels good, Angela. Awesome. I feel good too.
It actually decreases pain.
Good. Excellent. Decreases pain. Have you experienced that yourself? Good. It's true. I have another pain reliever thing we're going to do today too.
Yeah, I have a lot of fusions in my
Okay,
neck and hips and back, and I feel a need to stretch. So
good. Thank you for sharing that. It's something that I, as a antsy person, take for granted. And so when I stretch, I feel so good. And nowadays, I'm just like, I need some yin yoga, not the hard yoga. But, anyways, what else do you guys feel? How could that be a benefit to somebody that is seated a lot during the day or doesn't have a lot of mobility? Don't be shy. You guys could all take your microphones off if you want and feel free to ask questions as we go as well.
I think
But
it,
yes,
I'm sorry. I think it also like helps maintain ability because like people with contractures are very painful because they can no longer move. So the
uh,
more we do that now, you're kind of investing in yourself in the near future.
I love that. Absolutely. Longevity and lubricating your joints, even, right? The neck and the back are such targets for pain, especially when we're holding a lot of pressure or burdens or stress or emotions. That's where it's very vulnerable to it. So, for longevity and feeling mobile, I love this. Diane says it gets blood and lymph flowing. Absolutely. Though I'm feeling completely stuck right now. It really was a difficult day for me. Bless you, Diane. I'm so thankful that you're here. I feel more awake, Diana says. Like in my body awake in every place we stretched or worked on. That's wonderful, Diana. Awesome. Okay. Great. So we're going to practice that from time to time. You're going to be like, oh, Jen, come on. I'm going to be like, yeah, we are going to because that's what I need. I need somebody to tell me, like, get on the floor and start stretching. And so we're going to do that. There'll be short things that we do from here and there, but that is a practice, like moving your body, the lymph, the joints, obviously muscle tone, but all of that stimulation too in the gut region where the vagus nerve passes through. And then even just being present enough to like, oh, I feel a stretch. I feel something in my body. I feel sensation in my body brings you into your body. And that's where healing can occur. That's where noticing what's going on in your body can allow some things to be released that keep us stuck in illness state. Okay. And Diane also says, I can completely relate. I told two people today I feel stuck. You are, oh, thank you, Diana, for supporting Diane. Oh, no, that's Diana. Feel more awake, like in my body, awake and every, yeah, okay, great. All right, I'm just rereading things. Okay, guys, awesome. We're also going to practice what we learned last week. So I don't know if anybody has remembers the physiological sigh, or you've heard of this before. From it's kind of like a popular thing now, but it's like a double inhale and then a slow exhale through the mouth. And then we're going to go into some of that build a breath, and I will guide us through it. And then from there, I'm going to see how your weeks went. We'll troubleshoot some things, and I'm going to teach us something new that we're going to see how we feel about trying this week. Does that sound good? All right. So now that we're in our bodies a little bit more, you did the sigh and it was helpful. I love that, Melissa. Awesome. Okay. So this physiological sigh business that I noticed the dog, he's on this couch. I notice him doing it while I'm here. You notice little kids doing it, and we probably do it without realizing it. Um, in our everyday lives, and even maybe when you're waking up, you're sleeping. But this physiological sigh, it's that double breath where you like take a deep breath, but then you kind of top it off with a quick inhale at the end. And that kind of like bursts open some of the alveoli. And then as you offload the carbon dioxide at the end with a slower exhale, that also helps regulate the oxygen CO2 level. So inhaling deeply through our nose is what we'll try. And then you're going to do a quick inhale again at the end. So that double inhale. And then we will just have that exhale through our mouth real slower than how we inhaled. So it's gonna, so why does it work? It helps inflate the alveoli, the ones that might not be using. So more oxygen is going to get into your bloodstream. It'll help remove some extra CO2. And obviously, that type of breath, it really resets and activates the nervous system. So it'll activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is what we want to do. So if I'm feeling intense stress, anxiety, or even anger, this is a great time to do this easy, quick breath. You could just do it like 2 or 3 times and see how you feel. But it's like a real-time tool for like, I'm in the heat of the moment. I need to just like reset before I say something unnecessary or whatever else happens. I get in a crash because Jenny can drive a little bit. That will give me some stress. Okay, here we go. So I'll demonstrate. It's pretty simple, and don't worry about getting it right. But the more you practice it, you get to be the judge if it works for you and how it works for you. Okay, so I'm going to take an inhale through the nose, then a quick one, and then I'll sigh it slowly out my mouth. And I'm going to do that a few times, and then we'll do it together. So You guys ready? Nothing too fancy? Okay, let's do it 3 times. You can do it at your own pace, and then I'll take us into the build a breath. Okay, so go ahead and try that on your own. Maybe each time getting a little slower with that exhale. Good. And then from here, if you want to close your eyes or put your hands flat on your lap or your palms facing up, you can see what would feel better for you. But we'll try some build the breath. So we get to practice this together so that when you're doing it on your own, it doesn't feel so foreign. So it should feel awkward if you've not done some breathing practices, and that's okay. But here we go. We get to do it together. I'm going to close my eyes. We're going to breathe a couple breaths at 3 counts, and then a couple breaths at 4 counts, and then a couple breaths at 5 counts. And that's what we'll do today. But you can go up to 8. And this is great for before bed. This is great for right when you wake up, but to ground into your body and to again turn on the relaxation and the healing that can occur with your parasympathetic nervous system. So we want to take our breath to the healing state, which is like 5 count in, 5 count out. That's like optimal for healing and wellness, which my normal everyday breath is probably like 2. So that's the goal. That's why we do this, building up to 5. So we're going to start at 3. So why don't everybody just maybe hands on your belly if you like. Exhale with the air that you have, and then inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And take a couple breaths on your own, this longer cadence. And then from here, I would love if you put in the chat how you're feeling now with stress and anxiety. Like, what does the number feel like now after you've given your body a little bit of attention? Just fire off a number in the chat if you would, please. And or if you want to share verbally, I would love to hear what that was like for you, good, bad, and everything in between. 4 and relax. There's a 6. There's a 9. Now, good, Diane. Every point counts. So recognizing that even on a really stressful day, I can help bring it down even a notch. And if I had more time, I could do this for like a half an hour, right? I could do some stretching. I could do some breathing. Breathing practices could be anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. So I love to see a lot less stress. There's a 4. Great, Denise. So I love to see that. And just to show yourself too, even if it's awkward and I really had to read the research, being somebody that needs to be like proven to in order for me to make it a real practice that I did. And that's where I came across that book we mentioned last time, Breath, the New Science of a Lost Art. And it was amazing. But the main thing I got from that was the 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale is like the breath for thriving and the breath for like maximum health benefits. And when you count out 5 counts, inhale and exhale, it's so slow and like awkward. And It's amazing how fast our culture moves. So, something to think about, and we will get better at it. All right. So, there we have it. We've done physiological sigh, you've done some stretching, some grounding into your body, and some breathing. The last thing we're going to do is practice the ear massage that we learned last week. And ear massage increases vagal tone, which so does the deep belly breath. Um, and it helps get your body into that rest, digest, and heal into the parasympathetic and out of stress and fight and flight. So imagine you're just like sitting there before bed, or you're sitting there in your car or something, and you're waiting, and you are like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this ear massage. So just imagine like acupressure, acupuncture, they often put a lot of needles in the ears. There's lots of acupressure points. So that's why they get to be a target. So yay, ears, we get to give you a little massage. So we can start with the ear flap, which apparently is a fun word called the tragus. The tragus. So just gently, if you can press from the outside, just a few times, you can kind of feel maybe even a little suctiony, just to kind of start stimulating. And then gently, you can start to do circles on the tragus, just really gently, and then go in the other direction. And then basically, we're going to take those circles and radiate outward towards the cartilage and earlobes. But I'm going to start by the inside cavity. So just gently, and if I have fingernails, just be really careful. But you're just going to start to gently massage or rub in circles. And then eventually getting into the shell of your ear and just little pinches as you go in that circle. And I've had the Ayurveda practitioner do this, and even my massage therapist was doing this way before I knew anything about it. She would like pull my ears down and pull them up. So then a gentle tug in all the directions. And they really apply a lot of pressure, to be honest. So it don't feel like you need to be super gentle because you're stimulating those things, but also you can be super gentle and still have an effect because you're touching yourself, and that's going to affect the vagus nerve. Okay. So now thinking about that, feel the warmth of your ears, just that tactile stimulation alone. Just notice. And also any other feelings that you might have, just be aware. But that is another fantastic, easy reset that is not a super common one. Okay, that's a recap from last week, and I like that we get to practice these together every week. But the intention is hopefully that you do these during the week. And I know Melissa was sharing with me that she did some breathing this week. Did anybody else do breathing that was here last week that did breathing and or ear massage and could report back if you did it or not? I know Melissa did the sigh. Anybody? I think Diana was here and Diana says, oh, yay, Kelly. I'm glad you watched the replay. Awesome. Okay, cool. If you want to type in, Kelly, what your experience was yesterday, curious. Diana did. Awesome. So now we get to add on that other layer, right? So doing the practice is fantastic, but noticing it is what changes the way your brain starts to look at your state of being. We want to train your brain to notice the state of being you're in, like notice that I'm relaxed, notice that I have stress, notice that I have anxiety, label those states so that then I can get out of them. But if I'm able to say like, oh, I massaged my ears and I did some breathing massages and afterwards I felt more calm. That's important. Attach some pleasure to that. Then the brain is going to start scanning for when you feel more calm and bring it to your attention. We want to train that network, the reticular activating system, which basically screens out what's important, what to pay attention to. We want it to pay attention to a relaxed state. We want it to look for a relaxed state. So we're training your brain. So every time you do something with the intention of being relaxed, notice afterwards. Take that moment and actually acknowledge, how did I feel? I went from a 7 to a 5, or I went from a 9 to a 4. Like, really give yourself that data so that your brain sees, hey, she's paying attention to this. This must be important. And then your nervous system gets on board too. So last week we talked about those three brains. We want to get them all going in the same direction. There's that reptile brain that only cares about survival and keeping you alive. There's the midbrain, which is mammal brain, emotions, wants you to feel good, wants to stay away from things that are fearful or harmful. And then there's the human cortex, which is planning, forethought, and moving towards goals or what I would like to do. Oftentimes, this is activated. My forebrain is activated. I'm like, let's go. Why am I not doing this thing that I want to be doing? But that reptile brain might be like, hey, that's new. We don't know if that's safe, even though logically it's safe and we know it's safe. We have to get all the brain going in the same direction. Otherwise, you just get conflict and a lot of willpower will not be able to help us keep the momentum going. Okay, school in the comments. I'm a visual learner. What would you like me to write? I would love that, Diana. I will write whatever you like. I am a visual learner too.
Just writing what you just said about the three parts of the brain and like what each part does. Like the
Awesome.
reptile was like keep us alive and yeah.
Cool. I will. Thank you, Diana. I love that. Okay, good. So anything like that, you guys don't hesitate because I'm here to support and being an ex-teacher. All the ways, all the ways. Okay, great. And I also see that Diane said, I do some of this every day. It feels good and does help. I'm so glad we already have a daily practice. That's phenomenal. And you guys get to support each other, right? Okay. And Jody reminded you, Diana, that's phenomenal. Oh, I like the ear massage too, Kelly. Okay, this is good. All right. So now I would love to hear where any of us got stuck. Like I had an intention to do something this week that would have supported my nervous system, but then it didn't work out, or I tried to do it, but it didn't really give me the result I wanted. We could do some troubleshooting here, or I could start talking about something. So if you have something to ask, I would love to hear it and we can troubleshoot and everybody will learn from it. Otherwise, I will just keep going. So, but I love to answer things. So give it to me. And I've got some tea. Do you guys do tea when you come to these? I make it like a ritual, like a nice beverage. This one is like relaxation tea on theme.
I,
Awesome.
I need to get my water.
Here's
And
my tea.
I'm trying to learn teas, but I've never been a tea person, but I'm trying to learn. Um, that looks like a good tea.
Right?
But I have a question, because I really did struggle this week. In fact, yesterday I meant to do Steph's class. I'm in California, so it would have been 10 o'clock yesterday morning, and I literally had a meltdown and was crying and didn't do the class. Instead, I went back to bed with my cat and my dog. And I have to give myself but I think like even my boyfriend, he works out of town. And I'm like, I don't know if I can even go into group because I don't know the difference between stress and like right now I have emotions.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm very emotional.
Oh, thank you, Denise, for asking that question because that's actually amazing segue into what I'm going to introduce to us today and an activity that I think will support you and all of us for this next week and for every day coming up. So I think it's good to recognize here on that three brain topic, right? We have the nervous system, which has layers of complexity, right? Very simple. All we care about is surviving. And then there's an emotional brain where the amygdala manages fear and the hippocampus manages memory and happiness. And then this frontal brain, which is very complex. But then your body is part of a subconscious nervous system, and your body is involved with emotions. So if you've ever felt emotions in your body, raise your hand. Have you ever felt emotions like in your body? Right? So our body actually, oh, I love that background, Kelly. Oh my gosh. Our body stores emotions when they are not able to flow through a cycle. So normally, that's fun. My hand is raised. Normally, our emotions would cycle through, and some scientists say like 20 to 90 seconds, an emotion could cycle through. And it is if I'm in a space where I can able to like acknowledge the emotion, what is the message for me? Feel the emotion, be present to the emotion, name the emotion, let the emotion move through me and out of me, then the emotion has done its job in real time in the present moment. When I have a habit, like probably we're all taught, to not be able to express our emotions in real time. Like when I was teaching, I didn't realize what I was doing. And as a parent, I'm sure you might do this as well. There was a lot of anxiety and stress, and my face would show like joy and happiness. But that anxiety and stress had nowhere to go. So it stored itself in my body. And then after a year or two, I started having these stomach issues and I didn't understand what was going on because those emotions cause a chemical fingerprint of cortisol and like the profile of stress to be released. So you have the emotional response, which is physical, and then you have the hormone equivalent to it. And if that cycle doesn't get interrupted and before it is finished, then we store it in our body. So the emotions tend to stack up and be pushed down. We've heard of that term before, and get stored in our actual tissues. So the energy, our meridians, get clogged and blocked by emotions that have not been able to cycle fully through because we're like adulting, or when we were young, it was not safe. If you're like some of our experiences, like it wasn't safe in my childhood to be angry because then I would like get attention for being angry and like I didn't want that kind of attention. And there was enough anger in the family that I was like the buffer. So I wasn't allowed to be angry, but I didn't know that. I just decided that right as a kid, like I'll take the job of not being angry and I'll be the buffer so that everybody can just be happy and stop being angry. But of course, I didn't know what I was doing. And I think maybe all of us have some of that, where you would experience that as well, where it wasn't safe to share your emotions in real time when you were young. And it was a good thing at the time. It helped you stay safe, or at least that part of you thought it was helping you stay safe. So it was a positive intention for you. But now as an adult, it doesn't serve you. Not being able to express our emotions in real time doesn't serve us, and it gets stored, and then it starts to shut down our tissues and our systems over time. So it makes sense, um, Denise, like I'm not sure if I'm feeling emotions or stress, like the intensity of the sensations it's maybe like a storm, like an emotional storm even. And each emotion is vying for attention. It's vying for an outlet to escape, to get out. And if we recognize emotions are messengers, they're not negative and they're not positive. They are sharing a message with you. They're neutral. They're neutral. And we have negative emotions like anger and sadness and depression, and we have positive emotions. But honestly, they're all neutral with a message for me. So if I have anxiety, an emotion of that, then that's telling me I need to be prepared for something. There's something that I feel I need to be prepared for. So you'd be like, oh, I'm feeling anxious. Oh, I feel it in my body. Sit down, feel my hands on the table, feel my butt in the seat. Okay, breathe. What do I feel like I need to be prepared for that I'm not? What's the message, anxiety? And then I ask myself, what's the message? Oh, yeah, I have to pick up my friend at the airport and I worry that I'll be late and there's the traffic and when am I going to leave and da 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 da. Okay, that makes sense. What do I need to do to prepare for that? Is there something I can do? Then I can do the action. If there's not something I can do, then I get to choose to let it go so the anxiety can be released. It shared the message with me. I realize I'm nervous, there's traffic, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just going to do my best. I'm going to leave when I can and get there when I get there. Is it the end of the world if I'm like 10 minutes late? No, I can let it go. I can let it go. So that's one example, a real easy example of an emotion giving me a message, which then gives me a choice. Either let it go because I can't control it, which is most things, or take some action. Why don't I set my alarm so that it will tell me to stop working at this time so I leave on time? Like that's my strategy generally, if it's something like that. So anger has a message, joy has a message, depression has a message. They're all messages. And they have positive intentions for us. They want to tell us something to help us live. So the strategy that I would love to share, it's something that I heard about and employ for myself, but also it's a really lovely skill for anybody that I've worked with. And it's trademarked Journal Speak by a licensed social worker. Nicole Sachs, but she learned it from Dr. Sarno, and he wrote a book about like ending back pain by like releasing emotions, and it's like an amazing book from the 90s or something. And it was so fun because just had this conversation with another friend who does similar work, and she was like, Dr. Sarno, and I was like, Nicole Sachs. She's just like, I was like, is that she was treated by him, and I was like, she used to have this mentor that she got. He's like, it was Sarno. I was like, oh my God, it's great. So at any rate, meant to be that this is what we're talking about today. So journal speak. And the strategy that Sarno came up with, he has since passed, um, addresses, he created it for like intense acute body pain that couldn't be healed by normal means and maybe didn't even have like an origin story. Like it doesn't make sense why you have pain in your back, but you do. But it also is related to many illnesses. So just the idea that emotions get trapped in the body and that energy doesn't is like clogging up your meridians and like draining you. So think of it as that way too. Like if I get like imagine like a cord coming through my head and I get 100% of my energy throughout the day. If 60% of it is used to push down emotions, how much energy do I have left to function? 40%, right? Whereas if I'm able to like in real time like nurture the emotions, let them release, get the messages, get it out, I free up that energy that can now be used for my systems and my tissues. So that's a real simplified metaphor, but that is another benefit of figuring out how to acknowledge our emotions, how to feel them, how to let them be expressed so that they can be seen and heard and then released. Questions before we go into the strategy. What do you think, Denise?
Um, I I think it's just new. I've I've some people might know I've been through a lot of counseling with trauma, domestic violence, and I've never had emotions like I'm doing now.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Denise. Um, Kind of going along with like it wasn't safe to share to feel your emotions when you're in the middle of the trauma, right? The trauma is like a safety thing for you. It like it freezes everything in you so that you can function and like escape, but the emotions are still there frozen. So then when you finally get to a safe place in a therapy session or in a safe relationship or with a friend or maybe even just by yourself, you might just break down with emotions for no reason that you can understand, only that your body feels safe enough to like let the floodgates go, to stop holding it in. So sometimes that can be um, why you might be having a lot of emotions now that you didn't feel before. And also just giving ourselves that realization in general. Like if I just start, sometimes I'm just driving down the road and I just start crying, right? It might be something that I saw on the side of the road that triggers it, or a billboard or a song. And I'll just be like, that's an overreaction to that stimulation. But it needed to, right? It was something that was held inside. And they'd be like, why am I feeling sad right now? And I can ask and be like, oh, there's some grief over that. That's allowed. I love you, Jenny. Like, okay, feel the grief. You're driving, it's safe. Cry, right? So I thank you for sharing that, Denise. And I don't know that that's definitely your situation, but that would make sense 100%. If like now your body's feeling safe, it can let go and be vulnerable enough to share and to release. Does that resonate at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So keep us posted, man, with whatever thoughts that come up for you. And anybody else, if you get an epiphany, share it because we can all learn from it. Okay. So the idea is anybody worked with therapy, like internal family systems, IFS therapy, internal family systems? Okay. This is something I was trained and has been very valuable. It's just acknowledging that like our personality is made up of many different parts, and like there's different protector parts, and those parts are like developed because we needed them at a specific time in our life. But if they're constantly in charge, they might be sabotaging like my whole natural self, my compassionate self to be leading the show versus like this fearful part of me that's trying to protect me. So this being able to acknowledge emotions and even where in my body the emotion is, I'm feeling it. Maybe it's in my gut, or maybe it's in my heart space, or maybe it's in my throat, or maybe it gives me a headache when I think about this emotion. Those different parts of your body also can represent a part of you that is trying to protect you, but is also like there's a lot of energy there. And so, like, putting my hand there and while I'm crying to be like, I see you, I feel you, that's where it is in my body. Okay. Like, breathe into that spot. Um, all right. So, we'll be doing lots. Well, we'll see if we need it, but we're going to learn this technique. And if it helps, that's great. And if it leads us further down the path, that's great too. Okay, so journal speak, which you could look up Nicole Sachs if you've got your notebook or something. You can look there. She has a book, I believe, Nicole Sachs, and Dr. John Sarno. He has, yes, I think somebody made a comment. He has that back pain book, and you would love it. Doing an on-course help with tight fascia. Yes, he uses yoga, which for me moves too quickly. While I need to get my fascia less tight, the course I'm in may be too much. I love that, Diane. Yes, I'm also learning more about fascia and the nervous system and how the fascia, like to allow us to be fight and flight, the fascia constricts so that we have more power and strength. But then if I'm chronically in fight or flight, that constricted fascia becomes basically like solidified and cemented. And if we see like people that are hunched over when they're older, they had that fight or flight. It was protecting their heart space. So it's the body is so complex and we will be addressing fascia. So I love that you're in there. And yes, just taking the parts that you are that you're able to take little bits at a time, not overwhelming ourselves is ideal. So I'm glad that you said that.
Can you,
Yes.
sorry, I'm
Go ahead,
extra
Diane.
tired. I'm
I
just
love it.
extra tired tonight, so my brain is a little bit slower tonight. Anyways, can you put the books that you recommended and like what you just described to us in like a worksheet or something? I don't know. Just I need it like in
Yeah.
print.
Okay.
Or
I hear
for
you.
whatever technique you just described, I can just get the title and I can like Google the technique again. Cause like
Okay.
it takes me more than once. Like most people, it takes more than once to learn it. And
Yes.
I do want to learn it because this is something that like I need. This is like the part of my healing journey that I still need, like, that's new to me and I need the
Yeah.
most help with. Like I have the
Awesome.
other things down. It's just like, yeah.
Thank you
So,
so much for asking. I'm just like you, and it takes me like 5 or 6 times going over something. And that's why, like, practicing the build a breath, we'll do several times, right? And practicing everything else. And
yeah.
Kelly already has a link in there, which is phenomenal. Thank you, Kelly. That must be the back book, the back pain book. That's
Okay.
phenomenal.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I will put references to the things that I'm mentioning so that you guys can absolutely go wild with Google and like,
Okay. Because
okay.
I do, I'm like a nerd. I love to like
Me
Google
too. Me
all
too.
day. I love reading. I just love learning anything about
That's
anything,
so good.
really.
Yeah, I will soak
I'm
it up. And
definitely like a teacher at heart, just like you.
yes, it's like teacher and student, right? You just can't stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Teachers
And I
are always
appreciate
like
that.
forever learners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like, that's the other thing too. Like, words don't teach, right? You get to experience it. And like, I got to hear it and then I got to read it. And then like a diagram helps
Hmm.
me. And then like getting it into my body helps me. So all of those layers, right? So I'm really glad
Yes.
that you add
Yes.
that. Yeah, we just got to be like realistic about what actually works because if I could tell you, I mean, not practicing the awkward yoga together, I could tell you, hey, chair yoga does great things for your body, go do it. Like, but it's not the same as doing it together, right? And so I appreciate that's why we're doing things together, even if it feels awkward. Like it won't eventually we'll be, you just know when we show up with Jen, we're gonna do a little stretching and we're gonna do a little breathing and then we're gonna learn something. And that will be good. That'll be good. Okay, so journal speak, one of those terms, which is like trademarked by her. So we want to, and I love somebody also mentioned The Body Keeps the Score. Phenomenal. I think that was like the breakout book of how the body is that subconscious mind, which according to some studies, 95% of our behavior is based on our subconscious mind, not necessarily this frontal brain. So it behooves us to like clean this up, clean up the emotions so that I'm not making these reflexive actions and reflexive decisions based on past traumas and past things that I needed to protect myself from that I can move forward in the present moment. Do I need to protect myself here? No. I can be vulnerable here, and that was what will get me what I need with this person, right? So that's our goal is to recognize, like, become more connected to my body. And the body keeps the score is a phenomenal. Even if you just read a summary of that work, ugh, it's really important. And that is also like anybody heard of Louise Hay? You can heal your body. Louise Hay is my spiritual godmother. She's also like, I just love that woman. She's passed now, but she's like the grandmother of all grandmothers. But she also did work on like, if you have grief, it's stored in your lungs. If you have anger, it's in your liver. Like, so if you have specific places in your body that are malfunctioning, there could be like a specific emotional theme attached to it that's predictable. And so it's another way to like get to know like why am I having hip problems? Why am I having stomach issues? Like there's more than just the physical aspect and more than just stress. And we'll get to that too. I'm sure we will. Okay, on to this one. So journal speak, as you might be able to tell, journaling. But this journaling is designed to how I explain it to my clients. I call it angry journaling because that's how it expresses itself for me. But it's any type of raw emotion journaling. It can be sad, it can be hurt, it can be angry, rageful, it can be anything that we usually filter because we live in a sophisticated society or because it wasn't safe for us to express those emotions at the time we were feeling them, those types of emotions. That's what we want to get in touch with through journal speak, or what I like to term angry journaling. Nice nickname. But we want to connect your mind and your body and allow those suppressed emotions to come out of the body and be seen. And there's two ways that you can do it. You can speak it, which therapy helps, right? You're speaking into the therapist, or you can write it. Just thinking about it and knowing it in your mind, be like, oh, I know why I got triggered when I saw that blue car. That reminded me of my ex-boyfriend. And then you like go through it. It's not the same as journaling it or speaking it. The brain and the body doesn't process it, doesn't feel, it doesn't finish the cycle unless it is spoken or written. So journaling is great. You don't
Mhm.
need anybody. And this might be something you don't even want to tell your therapist. Like Nicole Sachs, the first thing I only heard her do an interview like years ago, and I didn't read her book, to be honest. So I have not read her book, but this interview taught me what I teach. And she said the first thing she wrote was, I hate being a mom. And you can imagine like a mom might not want to say that to anybody else, right? Like that's kind of a thing that seems like, oh my gosh, you hate being a mom? Like that's not good. And she recognized that it wasn't that she hated being a mom, it was that her back pain was so intense that she had no patience for her children and she hated that she would snap at them and she would have a short fuse. So her being able to journal speak and be like, I hate being a mom and like rip up the paper, right? And like allowed her to get it out of her system. And she did resolve her back pain, which was really amazing through her work with Dr. Sarno. And then she was so in love with it that this is the book that she wrote. So you want to connect your mind and your body with these emotions that have been repressed. So these are like fight or flight responses that are now safe to come out. So you get to find a place, right? Like set up a scene for yourself. Like you're going to be in a quiet place where you might not be interrupted. Maybe it's in your car. Maybe you're going to show up to work 10 minutes early or before you go home. You're going to do some angry journaling before you go home. Maybe it's angry journaling about your work day and you're going to like angry journal it. So let it be a private space. And then you can think about some topics that you want that are like bothering you, and you can just pick one and you can just write about it. And you could do it for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. You could do it until you're done, until you've exhausted everything and you're like, okay, I feel like it's out of me. And then you might do it the next day for the same topic and write the same things. So every time you do it, you're letting go of a layer. Or you might write about it once and that topic's done and you're going on to a different topic, right? So there's no recipe, there's no right or wrong way really to do it other than you want it to be a safe spot so that you can really be uninhibited and write all the raw stuff that's wrong that you shouldn't say, all the swearing, all the nasty things, all the condemnations or whatever it is. And then you will, the point is to destroy it basically, because we don't want to analyze it. This is not for like judging myself about and being like, why did I feel that way? This is just for witnessing it. Witnessing it, let it have a voice, it gets out of your body. So then you can destroy it, crumple it up, burn it, whatever you do, shred it if you've got a shredder. So like I have just like I keep a stack of like scrap paper, like if I screw up when I print something, and that usually is like the back of it. I'm like doing my things, and usually I'm like ripping the paper with my pen because that's mine is angry journaling usually. Um, but yours might be sad journaling or any type of journaling. So there's no censorship. You get to destroy it afterwards, destroy the evidence, but you basically just allow yourself the space to intensely write whatever is coming up. And they could be hidden things. Things might come up that you didn't know about. Stressful feelings. It could be anything, but that's basically it. And I would encourage us to try it one time minimum this week. Even if you think you have nothing to journal about, just like set the timer for 5 minutes. That's what I'm asking for as your coach here. 5 minutes of journal speak where you plan to destroy it afterwards. And you might be like, I'm doing this every day. Then do it every day for 5 minutes, right? This could be a day, it could be a multiple time a day thing, right? Kelly, do you have a question? I would love to answer your question.
Yeah, so you said it's okay if we speak it or if we write it. Both are valid. Um, Based on the second link that I found that talks about journal speak, they said you could also type it into like a Word doc.
Okay.
Now, and I just had a question around that because there's some studies that show that because and it probably is fine because they say that if you write something, you've had to process it more if you've had to write it out by hand. You can't
Mhm.
do it verbatim like you might be able to do while typing. So, in your opinion, is handwriting going to be better than typing or
That's a lovely
speaking?
question. I'm so glad you asked, Kelly. And I was listening to a podcast the other day. It was actually a different journaling one, which that seems like a really fun book, which I'm gonna leave a link to that other book too, which I've not read yet, but it's another journaling book. But they were to, and I've heard the same thing, Kelly, that there's a difference between handwriting and speaking or thinking and handwriting and even typing. If you're like, I'm not handwriting, I'm just not doing it, then type it, right? You can still watch what you write and see, like there's a connection there. There's a connection between my fingers and what's coming out. But there is like the primal connection, like we're talking about a brain body connection here, like the writing and the parts of your brain apparently that it activates, handwriting versus typing is different according to that podcast. And it's stuff that I've heard before as well. So there's probably a hierarchy of like journaling it. My freehand would be my first choice. And then if I can't do that, then maybe I'm just in my car screaming it out. And you might be doing both, talking and writing at the same time. Go ahead, use your voice. Use your voice if you can. And then like if I'm like worst comes to worst, I'll just type it. Or if I'm just like a typer and I dialogue and I like, but the thing is for this, you get to delete it. So just let that be. I know I'm going to delete that. I'm not keeping this. This gets to be witnessed and honored with respect, and it does not need to be kept. It's like part of your shadow self that needs to be acknowledged, to be integrated into like your knowing, but you do not need to um, keep it. There's no need to revisit it. It's something that you want to release. Question? Another question? Glad you're back. Okay. Who is up for this challenge? Yes, I see Diana is. Anybody else?
I
I'm
think
doing
that
it.
this would be really great for me because I
Awesome,
couldn't speak up at all when I was a kid.
right?
And then you've got the good girl, and then you've got the Southern good girl,
Oh, yeah.
and literally when I am in conversations where emotions can be tense, I get a terrible physical pain in my throat, and I can't speak.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we were meant to be seen and not heard
Yes.
mentality of growing up.
Thank you for sharing that, Melissa, and making that connection. I also have like throat knots in my throat that occur, and I feel like that's an energy center, right? Your expression, your truth. Like this energy center chakra, if you will, is about truth. And so like speaking your truth, as cliche as it is a thing that we're supposed to do as a human. So if it's a truth that I can't tell somebody because it would be harmful, then it's a truth that I'm just going to witness myself on the paper, right? If you were going to be like, I hate so and so, I hate my brother. I can't believe he's such a swear word, right? Like, why is he not helping with my mom? Like, whatever questions, like, whatever. So yes, and that makes perfect sense. And being aware of what tightens up, like when you're in a conflict, what part of your body tightens up, and you can start to when you're in a safe place with a therapist or journaling, you can start to unpack like what was that feeling going on? When did I have that before? What was going on in my life when I had that in the beginning? Like when I was 7, oh yeah, I witnessed this thing and it was so scary. And then I had this knot in my stomach and I was sick for a day. Like there's connections there. So being in tune with your body like that, Melissa, is really beautiful. And I bet we all can relate to something like that. All right. We probably started an hour ago. I would love for any comments. I'm going to stay and do another like breathing thing to end us on, and you are welcome to stay with me and do that if you like. But before I do that, what else would you like to acknowledge or share? And I always love to end any session I do with clients or groups just with like the learning that you want to take away. Like, what's the highlight, the aha moment, your insight, or your remembering, or what you were reminded that's really important to you. So, if you could, if you're at your computer and can type, would you share what your aha moment was for this session or what your favorite learning was or whatever it is that you think's valuable? Would love to see that. Yes, and if
Hmm.
you're speaking it, that means you're probably alone. That's right. Thank you, Diane. Yes. Yes, unless you're a therapist. You guys are great. Yes. Awesome, Kelly. Dr. Sarno was amazing. Melissa, like the body pain can indicate where you stored emotion. Yes. Awesome. What else, guys? Anything else?
I have a question with Dr. Sarno stuff. Is it
Yes.
only going to be like healing of emotions and stored stress, or if there's an actual physical reason, can it help with that as well?
He his book, from what my understanding was, and I was just alerted to it this week. Um, but I know that the journal speak originated from him, was for people with chronic back pain. So people came to him with pain that could not be resolved by other medical techniques. And they had like no reason to be painful. Like even the woman, Nicole Sachs, she was saying like they took an x-ray of my back and you could see where the pain was and it was really bad. And it was really, really bad. And then she did the journal speak thing and they took the x-ray and it was still the same structure, but the pain was not there. So sometimes we take an x-ray and there's no physical structure wrong, right? But you still have all this pain. And they're like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. That could be an indication of something like this as well. So I think it's so fascinating. And everybody's body will be unique in how they respond. So being open and curious, we're going to keep that paradigm open. Like, I'm going to be curious. Um, Diane liked how parts of the brain can kind of work against each other, right? Like when the frontal lobe wants to move forward and project idea, the fight or flight part wants to shut that down. Right, exactly. Right. And we don't get to be angry. That's the part where we get to be curious. Like, I'm not going to be angry at my hind brain, at my reptile brain, but I am going to be curious. Like, what can I do to help my reptile brain realize that we're safe right now. It's safe to move forward. And sometimes it's a conversation with yourself, or that's journaling with yourself, or that's finding somebody else that did the thing you want to do and they're okay. We call that person an expander because they're someone just like me who did this thing and got what they wanted. So then my brain can see it's possible. And then that helps make it safe to move forward as well. So that's really good. And emotions are messengers. They have positive intentions. Yes, they really do. They're not negative. Okay. Awesome. Enjoyed the chair yoga. Love that. Does help me relax. Yes. Book references I will put in there. And need to get truth out onto paper. Yes. Very good, Melissa. Okay, guys. Awesome. All right. So don't hesitate also to message me in school or comment on something in school. So I will be I keep checking that. So that's good. And I will put lots of references in a post after this. And to end, I would love to you guys do humming before? Humming? Okay, humming or that vibration in your throat is another like really wonderful nervous system reset. The vagus nerve goes through your voice box, and that humming apparently helps the vagus nerve get toned. So it will help your parasympathetic state engage. So humming, and there's like special yoga breath called Brahmari pranayama. Pranayama is breath work, and Brahmari is like a bumblebee. That I'm going to teach us today. It's just really simple. But also you might have seen this before, like with the word voo, like the VU sound. Voo. That I know is taught by some meditators that I've been trained by as well. So there's any types of humming, like with your mouth closed, or even the where you feel the vibration in your lips. So we're gonna do the humming with our mouth closed in the Brahmari breath. Okay. I thank you, Diana. I see that. Okay. So to begin, it's pretty simple. We're going to actually cover our senses so that we can just focus on the vibration. You don't have to, and you could turn your camera off if you like. I'm going to demonstrate. We're going to take our ears, my thumbs on the tragus part, like we mentioned before, just kind of push it in gently so that the sound from the outside world kind of gets drowned out, magnifies the humming in my body. And then I'm going to cover my eyes with my fingers. And there's some way that they do it with like fingers on different points, but that's even my like practitioner was like, you don't have to do all that. You can just cover your eyes. So thumbs here gently, and then I'm going to cover my eyes. And then we're going to buzz and hum. And we're going to, it's just real simple, just a deep breath, and then hum it slowly out. And then to take another deep breath and hum it slowly out. And you can do 5 breaths, you could do 10 breaths, but it's a really lovely thing to do, like before bed for me, starting with my bumblebee breath and then going into like build a breath until I like flutter off to sleep, hopefully. So I'm going to practice that with us. So we're just going to gently press the ears, cover my eyes gently, no pain, and then taking an inhale through the nose and then humming it out through the nose. Mm. Then taking another breath and humming. Mm. We'll do 2 more. Mm. Mm. And then just gently coming back to your regular breath. But things to think about. First, like feeling in your body if you have sensations. And some things that to think about. I was also taught like the rising of the hum, like as my exhale continues, the humming kind of rises and gets more and more concentrated in my head space. So you might imagine possibly like the vibration rising through your body and going through your head. But and it also can be gentle. So I was kind of like trying to make it make a sound. I don't know if you guys heard the sound at all or anything, but just a gentle hum, and it can be at your own pace. So just a nice deep inhale and then hum it out. The tip of your tongue might be at the roof of your mouth. This could be loose, but basically that's it. Another layer, nervous system regulating. Any questions about that one? Okay. Thank you guys so much. I will be here if you want to ask me a question or anything, and then I'm going to make a post in school. Otherwise, I'm so glad you guys came. What a beautiful group to share this all with you. And I can't wait for next week for us to report back. You know, you tried it one time. Are we in for trying it one time at least? Okay, okay, good. Awesome. And yeah, who knows what's going to happen? We'll be curious. We'll be curious. Otherwise, have a great night and I'll see you guys on school.
Thank you.
Thank,
Good night,
Of
everyone.
thank
course.
you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys. Hi, Angela. That's okay. Bye-bye. All right. I see you. I see you. I see you. Okay. Ooh, I could have ended that.